Hey everybody, it's Jen. Welcome back to Modern Monarchy. Today we were supposed to have Catherine, the Princess of Wales' biography episode, but we usually record those episodes, my cousin and I, every other Monday, and this past Monday was very much not a good day for either one of us. So, instead, I took the time to finish the second half of season 1 of With Love, Meghan. I made it through, but I don't think if there happens to be another season that I'm gonna watch it, because it's either bothering me that the show doesn't have a goal, it's not teaching me anything, but also I'm not enjoying hanging out with these people because I don't like most of them. It is interesting because I like to study Meghan because she's a weird individual, but I can't do it for long periods of time. So I just took some notes on my phone, and oh my gosh, I forgot to show you this. I went to get the mail today, and you know how today's episode was supposed to be about Catherine? Well, my next piece of my little figurine collection showed up today, and it's Catherine! She came in the mail. I'm sorry we didn't do your episode today. But anyways, I'm just gonna run through the episodes. I'm gonna try really hard not to harp on the same points I brought up in the first 2 episodes with the show doesn't have a goal, Meghan's insufferable, these recipes or crafts that she's coming up with are whitewashed, are bland, are not interesting. I also think that she dubbed herself a foodie a long time ago, because I don't consider myself a foodie. I do consider myself somebody who likes food, but I find her knowledge of cooking techniques to be a little Swiss cheese. It's got some holes in it. Okay, I'm going to be referring to my notes on my phone, so if I don't happen to edit out the fact that I'm staring at my notes, that's why. So, episode 3, it opens up with Meghan in a bookstore. She says the bookstore is owned by her friends Jennifer and Victoria. At first, while watching it, the only thing that bothered me about this little scene is that she brought us here to pick books because she's going to give them to Tan France when he visits. But when she's going through the bookstore to figure out which ones she wants, she picks only books that are on display, not in the stack. And she's like, oh, these are great books. I'm like, yeah, how do you know? Do you know all the books that are on display? You don't have any actual favorite kids books that you could pick out? I also think that if you're going to go to your friend's bookstore, that maybe you could say what the name of the bookstore is, or show the front of it, because it's a business. It's not like you're doxing people. So I looked up her friends, Jennifer and Victoria. I know they were from season 1. They were the Mahjong friends that play Mahjong with her, I guess, every now and then. One of them is a board member for the talent agency that Harry and Meghan used, WME. So that's interesting. I mean, their bookstore is beautiful. They have this staged area in the corner with some really great lighting, I guess, so when people come on a book tour, they have a really nice space to sit and maybe even tape them talking about their books. I do also notice that these people like to hang out with this group of friends that Meghan has surrounded herself with. You know, the Oprahs, the Jay Shetty that's going to be in a later episode, Jamie Kern Lima, all these people who are just self-help gurus, and I cannot stand these people because they don't have any actual qualifications. And their job is to make you buy their books, make you buy their classes, their courses, their retreats that cost thousands of dollars in hopes of making you feel better. I wouldn't mind if they just created groups to do this stuff in, created groups where you could talk about ways that make you feel better personally and share information. I just hate when you turn it into a job, because it really feels like, and this is going to sound like when Kinsey Schofield was talking about Jamie Kern Lima, because Jamie Kern Lima used to own It Cosmetics, which she says she created specifically to have high coverage, like really cover up her rosacea or anybody else's skin problems. And Kinsey said she felt like she was preying on people's insecurities. That's what I feel about all of these guru people. They're like, don't you feel like trash? Do you want to not feel like trash? Buy my book. It's just, I hate it. I hate all these people. I suggest if you need help, go to a therapist. Or find people that want to help you, not because they want your money. I don't know why we went to this bookstore, because you're not showing me the bookstore, you're not talking about how great you think this bookstore is, you're not telling me what kind of books do you like, what kind of books should you pick for children you don't really know. We just kind of watched her walk in, grab a handful of books, and leave. And I was like, okay, cool. And then we have to watch her wrap the presents, but she doesn't tell you, like, she says she used to teach these paper craft stationaries and wrapping type crafts. She used to teach them. And why isn't she teaching us anymore? She's like, pick a wrapping paper and then a ribbon that looks similar, or a ribbon that has some colors that are in the wrapping paper. No duh, Meghan. Most of us have wrapped presents before. But maybe teach us how to make a really pretty bow or something. Bows are difficult. But I feel like I'm just getting back into the whole, like, these crafts are pointless. I'm not learning anything. Why are we here? So, Dan France comes over. He's fantastic. I like his French toast recipe. I like that he gives nice tips, like you should poke holes in the bread so that the egg mixture gets into the bread. And if you have like fresh bread, you should toast it so that it's dry, so it'll soak up more of the mixture. The only other things I have to say about this episode is that they do stamp art on aprons for their children, where they cut up vegetables and fruit and put them in paint and then stamp it on the aprons. But I'm like, that is literally a craft I did as a child. Why would you do this for your kid? Why would you make an apron for your kid? You would do this craft with your kid, but we're never going to get kids on this show, so I don't know why we're doing kid crafts. Also, there were just, if I made a top 10 cringiest moments of this show, this would be easily top 3. But she tells Dan France that Prince Harry said I love you first, even though she claims that she fell in love with him in a tent in Botswana on their 3rd date. Whatever. They had like this really icky exchange where she says that Harry said I love you first, and then he's like, oh, she still got it. And she's like, yeah, I still got it. And it's like, it just reminds me of how much I don't think you're in love with that man. Everything I know about this two's relationship, hearing it from her and Prince Harry's book, she's been running a game the whole time. I mean, it started with their first couple of dates where he was running a little late, and then she made him panic by saying like she was gonna leave if he didn't show up soon, and that, I know you're stuck in traffic, but get out of the taxi and just run here. And then later, she's late, but that's fine. She can be late. That's cute. And it was just like moments here and there of how like, you need to change if you want to be with me, if you want to keep this. And then when people ask about like, who said I love you, who I said I love you first, you turn it into this whole, like, I made him say I love you first. Like, I played the game right. It's gross. And this also ties into the moment that she gives Tan France the presents. And I just realized that every time she gives somebody a present on this show, I get really uncomfortable. Because it's like she's giving these presents because she wants to be praised for how wonderful she is to give you a present. Because she could give these people presents off camera, but she has to give them presents on camera. And every single time, it is just so cringy. When she talks about doing good things for her children, it's so that someday they'll turn around and go, wow, she loved us so much. And when she talks about her husband, it's, he loves me so much. Meghan needs to be praised at all times, or she has no use for you. Oh my gosh. I know I'm going to cut this down, but I've already been recording for 18 minutes. We only went through one episode. Episode 4, I don't have a lot of notes. I feel bad because I didn't look this up before I got on here. I can't remember the woman's name from episode 4. She seems like a fantastic lady. The recipes were pretty good. Even Meghan's. The apple butter was nice. The lava shock was great. I don't understand the book binding segment because it doesn't really, again, tell you how to do it. They're talking about this woman's, like, dinner parties that she has. Can't really remember. It's not really the point. The point is, she asks, like, well, is it a potluck? Do you make all the food? Do people bring food? And she's like, oh, no, everybody brings something. Everybody makes something. Everybody can cook really well. And Meghan's like, no one's, like, bringing a Stouffer's lasagna with them. Putting Stouffer's down, which is whatever. But it's just the fact that when the woman is like, oh, Stouffer's is really good, though. And Meghan's like, yeah, I have one in my freezer. So my note is just, show Stouffer's. Meghan finally shows us her famous roast chicken that she makes once a week. So I actually know she knows what she's doing. But, it was a boring ass chicken. Maybe she should have brought up checking the temperature of the meat on the chicken. She just kind of like put the whole bird in the oven for an hour. Okay, episode 5. This is where Jay Shetty comes in. I don't really have anything to say about Jay Shetty other than that he is a self-help guru who's made a ton of money, as far as I see it, profiting off of people's insecurities and mental health issues. We can get into that in a different episode. I really hate those people. Other than that, this episode was making soap from melt and pour soap, which is fine. It's not as creative as cold press soap, but I can understand not offering that on the show because that can be dangerous if you don't put things together properly. This episode had quite a bit of the handheld cam, which made a lot of shaky frames that was really starting to make me feel nauseous. Her cutting skills, my god. Okay, I thought it was just like slightly dangerous and annoying how she kept like picking small knives and cutting like this and getting really close to her fingertips while she's doing it and like using a small knife no matter what she's cutting. This time she is cutting large items, and as the knife is coming down, she's looking up and she's talking to somebody while she is chopping away. Absolute accident waiting to happen. This episode also points out that I don't think she's actually a foodie. There are words and there are like some recipes that I feel like as a foodie you would know. For example, people put yogurt in naan recipes. I knew that a long time ago. My last note for this episode is stop trying to make flour sprinkles happen, but every episode they make an appearance. Episode 6. This is the episode where she has the chef that cooked the dinner at her wedding over. This is not one of the better episodes. Not anything to do with the guests. She seems fine. At the beginning of the episode, Meghan is juicing. She's making some green juice before Claire. Her name is Claire. Meghan has a new juicer. She said she hasn't juiced anything in like 20 years, so she's amazed at how technology has improved on the juicers. Sometimes I find Meghan to be really immature and not in a way that I think is fun, but then again, I don't really like her. So I really did not appreciate when she saw the solids coming out of the juicer on the opposite end of the juice. And then she just starts cracking up because I suppose it looks like it's pooping. I don't know. It's not that funny. This episode is also a victim to some of the poor editing on this show. Don't show me Meghan tasting the green juice, and then when the guest comes, she opens the same bottle and takes a sip from it and is amazed it is so good. When she not only tasted it before, she adjusted the ingredients and added more apples. She knows what it tastes like. Also, horrible voiceover in certain spots of the show. You can definitely tell it was a voiceover because it doesn't even sound anything like what she was saying before.
I really like frying in peanut oil because it has a high smoke point and neutral flavor. Okay, we need to get some moisture out of these before we put them into the oil to fry.
Episode 7 is the one where she shows you how to pack a bag, and she tells us she puts in this a little 3 squared fold up picture frame of her family, aka her kids and her husband, that she keeps in her suitcase so that when she goes places she can pull it out and put it next to her bed. You look at pictures on your phone just the same, and she's like, it's not the same. I'm like, okay. It just seems weird. Even before phones. Before I had this thing on me at all times, the thought of bringing photographs of my family with me because I miss them so much. It's just another moment of her being like, I'm just so quirky. I'm so quirky. I'm so wholesome. I'm just full of love and I can't help it. She makes those thumbprint cookies that she made for the Drew Barrymore appearance, where she showed us how to make them on Drew Barrymore's show, and we were all wondering, why is she actually pressing her thumb into the cookies? Not only that, she does it vertically almost, she builds them up into little volcanoes. Normally you would make a little ball and put it down and maybe press it a little bit, but then you use a spoon to make the thumbprint, and then you put the jelly in that. Nitpick, she didn't cool the cookies on a cooling rack. She cooled them on the baking sheet. I'm sure that only bothered me. I also thought it was kind of weird, gross, a little over the line for when she and her friend are making pottery and her friend mentions putting her back into it. She really gotta work hard to get this dough to do what she wants it to. And Meghan quotes a song. Says, you can do it, put your back into it. This song is not about making pottery. I'll let you guess what the song is about. They go do some mixology with a mixologist. She finds out that he used to be a lawyer and immediately asks him, so did you watch Suits? And he's like, no. I think he said, I don't watch things on basic cable. Which I think he meant to say it, like, I don't really watch a lot of TV. But it made it sound like he was crapping on the show because it used to be, what was it, on USA? And we just go over the last episode, episode 8. I'm gonna say episode 8 is my favorite. He has Chef Jose Andres on the show, which means she's gonna be super annoying about her Spanish. And she was. She says to him, like, I used to live in Spain. I don't remember that part. Does anybody remember that chapter of Meghan's life where she lived in Spain? I'm not looking it up right now, but I don't remember that. If she did, it was for a very short time. Because she also said that she lived in Argentina longer, which is why her accent in Spanish is Argentinian. I'm pretty sure she was in Argentina for like a few months. I don't think she actually naturally got an accent in her Spanish, because I don't think 6 months is long enough time to do that. And I'm pretty sure she probably knew some Spanish before she went. So I think what happened was the first time somebody said, oh, your accent in Spanish is kind of Argentinian, she probably went and looked up how to do that accent and learned it. Because, like I said, that's not a long enough time to gain an accent naturally without trying. And she is just too much of a, I want to say, show off. Like, look what I can do. But usually for me, a show off is somebody who has like really good skills. And yeah, they're showing it off, but they're like rubbing it in your face a little bit. I think Meghan is a performer all the time, constantly. This is why she gives presents. This is why she writes notes in her children's lunches. This is why she writes them emails that they're supposed to answer. They're supposed to read in like 18 years if she keeps their email addresses current. Because I'm pretty sure you have to like open them at least once every 2 years or so. This is why she's constantly giving me that vibe of just like doing stuff to get praised. This is also why I think she likes lingo so much. She likes when you're in a specific field and you learn the jargon. She loves jargon. Even if she's in a setting where she should not be using jargon because the people watching aren't going to know what you're talking about. Like, when she talks about business, how many times have we heard her say the word skew? And she says, like, R&D instead of research and development. She likes when Harry's talking to military members because he speaks their language. He uses the same jargon. It's also why she's constantly telling us, I'm so nerdy. I'm just a nerd. When I was younger, I had a shirt and it said, talk nerdy to me. I love Jeopardy. I'm like, I'm sorry, these are things that you wouldn't have to tell people. Like, you should be able to just have conversation and eventually they will figure out, oh, she's a smart cookie. The fact that you have to keep telling us means I don't really think you are, or you don't believe you are, because you have to keep saying it. Oh, but I think Jose was a perfect counterpart to her. I don't know how we can get more guests like him. You can tell he actually likes her. You can tell that they know each other a little bit. You can also see how he's kind of like a father figure in this episode, where like she's following him around, she's gonna do whatever he says because he's the expert, but at the same time it's like every little thing that she does, he's like, wow, so great. But he's saying it in like the same way you would tell your kid that their macaroni art is a masterpiece. Just like, wow, I am just amazed by you. Also, I enjoyed that he is a ball of energy, and so he is pinging all over the place around the kitchen, verbally, all over the place. And so Meghan is spending the entire episode like on her toes, just trying to keep up with conversation and what activity we're doing. I like it. I like when she's listening to somebody who actually knows what they talk about. I like when she's on her toes and doesn't have time to like curate her reaction to things, because she seems a little more herself. Or what I think herself is. The only time I think her reactions were a little over the top was when he was chopping up a lobster. Girl, you're a foodie. It's a lobster. Maybe I'm from New England and I've been ripping lobsters apart as far back as I can remember. Yes, they are alive and you have to murder them, and I'm sorry, but that's the circle of life.
It's the circle of life.
It's the circle of life.
Yeah, I just went back real quick just to check the end of last season because I know she had a big party in the yard. But I believe that party was friends and Doria and her husband and like people who were invited. But the party at the end of the second season is a crew party. Like everybody who put the show together gets to have dinner. Definitely tells me that you shot all this together. This is the big wrap-up party at the end, and you still said out loud with your mouth, welcome to the end. It's been a really great 2 seasons. Ma'am, you shot it all together. It's 1 season. You recorded that, I'm guessing, the end of last year. You then debuted the show in March. And then after a few days of everybody watching the first season, you put out a post that is like, oh, we got a second season. And we were all like, that's bullshit. And first of all, you're not getting ratings that deserve a second season. Secondly, like, ma'am, stop lying. There was that interview with that woman whose last name is Greed, and I can't remember her first name anymore. But she was trying to get Meghan to say that she was doing this business to make a profit. Like she was selling jam at a large quantity, or larger than what she can make in her kitchen, not enough to actually run a business, but she was just trying to get her to say that part of why you're doing this is for the profit, and Meghan couldn't say it. Like, she had to keep coming up with BS. She had to keep saying it was because I'm sharing my jam. It's sharing. So many opportunities to share. It was just like, no, you just want to make a bunch of money. It's fine.
I think I go back to the authenticity, right? It's what I love and it's what I want to share. So what I was cooking in my home, to figure out recipe testing, to scale that to a level where you can share it more broadly. And of course, compliance is different globally when we get into that market, which we will.
You're going global.
How can we not?
I mean, how can you not?
Yeah, but it's the spirit of sharing. I don't want to just share it here. I want to share
and
it.
it's better for the P&L.
Well,
there is that, Meghan.
Yes, that's true. And in the spirit of sharing. But I think...
So, I think that's all I had to say. Season 1, Part 2 of With Love, Meghan. So if you're still listening to my rambling at the end of all of this, please give this video a like. Think about subscribing. It's free. And that, I will see you guys next week. And we won't talk about Meghan. I think I can promise that. Goodbye.